Did you ever have a piggy bank? So today's video, the art of saving for it. So when we were kids, we used to get piggy banks, or if you were lucky, you had a piggy bank. Sometimes you just had a coffee canister and you would make a little slash in it and you just stick money in its side. Or you'd have a big water jug and you just fill it up, whatever you did. But in general, they would sell all different types of piggy banks. And this particular piggy bank is my favorite one I've ever had. So this was a gift. So when my husband and I got married, our friend Mike, who has since passed away, gifted us this piggy bank. And he wrapped it up in such a way that it was just filled with paper all around. And he filled the piggy bank with $100 bills and wrote us the nicest card congratulating us. And then the sentiment behind the piggy bank was we essentially saved money, or he gifted us money for us to use in the form of saving for our honeymoon. And so we went to Aruba and had a really lovely time. And so whenever I see this piggy bank, I think of our friend Mike, and I think about the countless conversations that we had around money. Mike was really, really good at saving and investing. In fact, he was on his own path to financial independence. And I'm happy to say that he did get to retire in his mid 40s and he did get to experience a life without work. And I wouldn't have had it any other way for him. Now, when it comes to saving, I think saving for it is a lost art. I think that it is a discipline that looks outdated. Particularly today, you can click or swipe and buy almost anything instantly. So instant gratification is the norm, and saving is a lost art. But I would argue that it not only builds wealth, but it really teaches you about yourself. It teaches you, when you save for it, what you want most. It also teaches you what is worth waiting for and what is worth working for. And so, if people were to instead save for everything they wanted, I think there would be less regrets when it comes to purchases. And there would be much more satisfaction with the things that we do buy. And so, the art of saving, let's bring it back. Today, everything is kind of purchased on credit as the norm. Not everybody, but very few people save in advance for things they want to buy. And a lot of people feel like waiting is a sacrifice. But I think that should be something that is reframed, because I've spoken before about this, but the joy of anticipating things that you're going to buy, things that you really want most, is such a wonderful thing. It's not deprivation, it is your dreams in action. It is appreciation and definitely not deprivation. Okay, I'm saying all the buzzwords. But the art of saving is so important because people are going more and more in debt. It is becoming the norm of what used not, it didn't used to be this way, but back in the day when I was a kid, people would save for their first car. People would save for furniture, or if it came in terms of credit, the most that they would do would be layaway. And so you would put the item on hold essentially with layaway, and you would pay for it a little bit at a time, but you would not get to bring the item home until you earned it or you paid for it completely. And so that art turned into buy now, pay later. And this video isn't about buy now, pay later. It is about the art of saving for it. So, but that art buy now, pay later takes away from the joy that you could be experiencing with your purchases. So let's talk about why it matters so much. And I have points written down. So, number one, discipline becomes a muscle. Saving for something teaches you patience. And it's not about putting money aside, it's about learning to wait, to prioritize, and how to hold off impulse. So if you're not buying things on impulse, you're actually buying things that you want most. And that's a big distinction because you're not just, saving your money, you're training your mind to actually wait for things that matter to you. Two, your desires become more clear. When you're buying on impulse, you're buying the first thing that comes to mind, the first thing that triggered an interest. But when you're buying what you want most, and you're actually saving for it, you're rewiring the order of how you do things. And so as you're saving for what you want to buy, you can then see, geez, is this what I really, really want? And so the urge, you may want to buy something in the moment, but that's probably going to lead to regret. Whereas if you are buying something that you're saving for it over time, even if it's a want, it's something that you want most. And so it becomes a tool for you to use to determine whether or not it's a fleeting want or if it's a lasting one. So, number three, the joy hits different. And by this, I mean that the joy of anticipation, the joy of saving for what you want means you appreciate it much more because you've been saving for it over time. And so because you're buying something that you save for, you have a sense of accomplishment when you finally reach the ability to be able to buy it. And so let's say you bought your car, but you paid cash for it. Would that not feel better for you than buying it on credit? The fact that you saved over time, that you worked very hard for it, that joy hits differently than paying month in and month out for it. And so you don't just own the thing, you actually own the journey that got you the thing. Number four, your financial confidence grows. And so when you learn to use your saving muscle, in the beginning, you might be saving for ticket items that are not that high. But the more things that you end up being able to save for, the bigger your muscle grows. And so, therefore, maybe at first you save for $1,000 bike, but the fact that you were able to do it then leads you to be able to do it again. So, you know that it can be done, and therefore, you know you can do it. And so, you end up changing your goal to bigger ticket items that you want. And so, maybe instead of just buying the bike, now you have the confidence to know that you could buy the car too with cash. That's a big one. So confidence isn't just about wealth, it's about knowing that you're in control of what you're buying and knowing that you've done it before and you can do it again. Number five, regrets shrink. With impulse buying comes a hangover. I hit my move goal. Woo! Actually, can't see that. Pretty cool. I did a lot of walking this morning. So your regret shrinks. So normally when you buy things on impulse, you can have a buying hangover, as they say, afterwards. But when you're buying things that you saved up for it, chances are you determined along the way whether or not you really want that item, whether you want it most. And so even as you go through the savings, you can actually determine whether or not you still want to buy it. So you saved up for it doesn't mean you actually have to pull the trigger. And so therefore, you're really buying what you want most, so you're going to have less regrets on the things that you buy. And then number six, it reconnects you with your reality. When you're saving for what you want to buy, you actually know how much margin you have. You see yourself, how much your expenses are, how much your income is, and what that difference is. That's your saving margin. And so it reconnects you with your reality. You're not just buying things that are so far out of reach. You stay within your lane. And essentially, you buy things that you can actually save up for. So you're not buying a Mercedes. You're not spending 2 years of salary on a ticket item that you cannot afford. You're buying things that are within your financial reality. And if you don't like your reality, you change it and you work harder to make sure that you make more money to be able to buy what you want. So you stop asking yourself if you can afford a payment and you figure out if you can actually, is it worth your time? Is it worth working more? Do you want to save for what you're buying? So again, it lets you hone in on what you want most, what's worth working for, and what you truly want. That's why saving is such a powerful thing. I think this the ability that the lessons that we lose when we just do impulse purchasing, car payments or permanent lifestyle, buy now, pay later culture, vacations on credit, furniture and home upgrades that people can't really afford, and then all the lifestyle upgrades that people are doing on credit. It's crazy. So bring back the art of saving for it. And hope you like my piggy bank. I love it. I didn't name my piggy bank. It's just my piggy bank. This is Regina from Simply Fundamental, and I will catch you